Let us close our eyes for a moment. With deep love, let us think of God and the Masters. With love, let us chant. Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Gurave Namaha. I bow to God. I bow to all the divine incarnations. I bow to all the masters of all times and all places. I bow to my beloved Gurudev. I bow to all of you and the entire creation. Om Amen. It is by the grace of God and Sri Gurudev we are here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of this ashram, and at the same time to celebrate the 50th year of Sri Gurudev coming to West. In India, we have 2 days dedicated to the Guru. And in Indian language, Guru is a very common word for school teachers, university professors, and also spiritual masters. The traditional day, as you all know, it is on the full moon day in the month of July, which we celebrate as Guru Purnima. And that day, mostly in all the monasteries and holy places, people celebrate it. But today, the 5th September, is commonly practiced as Guru Divas or the Teacher's Day, mostly in educational institutions. But the principle is the same, the message is the same, the vision is the same. Remembering the teachers, remembering the Gurus, and offering our homage, our love, and also our commitment as we love them and we follow them. So this Teacher's Day or Guru Divas, which we celebrated, are now also being celebrated on this date. It is in post-independence period it started. So today is the Teacher's Day in India. On this special day, I had the opportunity to speak to the children of Balashram and also to the teachers there. in the morning, although for a few minutes, nearly 15 minutes, but it was nice to see them and to have this memory of our childhood. So from beginning of our education, this date was celebrated. Teachers' Day. So today is the Teachers' Day in India. Happy Teachers' Day. Today is the 5th September. 25 years ago, Pragyanananda came back from USA and entered this property, although he had seen this property from outside. In the month of June, while coming back from Holland Sterksel program, from the airport we had an outside glimpse of this property. So to me, today was the entry to this ashram. And the next day we had the celebration. So it brings me the memory of seeing Gurudev and being with Gurudev here in this property, although it was not for a long period of time. Sri Gurudev lived here nearly 6 weeks in this property, in this ashram. But with Gurudev, I had only 2-3 nights, not more. So still then that memory is there. Human mind is memory. Let us come back to our discussion. We have been discussing on a very simple word, and that is need. And since last few days, we have been thinking on this need. And yesterday we discussed we need, yes, and we want to fulfill our needs. But do we ever think what others also need? I told you about a great personality of India, a follower of Gandhi. His name is Vinoba. And I told you since yesterday I have been reading his book. I have not finished it. I hope to finish today, but it goes a little slow. So Vinoba, he walked on India from one end to the other end. Not only once, he really roamed on foot. So years after years, after 7-8 years of his walking, somebody wrote him a letter. What is the need for you to walk so much? And what is the need for you to tell people that you give your property, give your land? And already he had got, at that time, as I told you, millions of acres of property. People gave him millions of acres. Why can't you stop at one place, somebody wrote, and do some constructive work to show them the way how to move further with this type of attitude? Then he replied the letter. He replied in an interesting way. He said, look, I am walking and I am begging. I am not begging for myself. And it is not begging. It is the attitude to change the attitude of others. And I will be walking is good. Walking gives me strength. Walking gives me to see new places, more people. It gives me more life. Walking gives me better health. Walking helps me to know many languages. You'll be surprised to know he spoke many languages. He learned and spoke many, unbelievable. While this walking, he learned German, he learned Japanese, he learned I don't know what is the language of Yugoslavia during those days. He learned the language. So, however, he learned quite a few languages while walking and learning. Then he said, I do my work, the rest is your work or the work of the people themselves to think and the government to take care of. Suppose people give the land, the government should distribute among the poor people, not that I am sitting and distributing. So he told 3 things I love to do. Among 3 things, he told, learn more and teach more. And that is the need. It's a very beautiful message. Learn and teach. It is not learn from the books and teach from the books. We should learn more and more of new things. Learn good things and teach good things to people. He said, it was his very interesting concept he had lived, and it was the Gandhian view also. He said, our need is very little, it is not too much. Most of us in the world, we are not producing anything. That is what Vinova said. We all consume, we don't produce. He went to the root of production. He said, for example, who really is producing? Is police producing? No. Army producing? No. They are working, they are serving, no doubt. The people working in the office, they are producing? No. Then who is producing? He said the first production is the farmers are producing. The farmers are producing. So he told and he encouraged people, we ourselves should work and produce. And we should you should try to fulfill our own need with our own hands if we can. Another interesting aspect from his life, before I studied more about him, one book of him really impressed me a lot. I read that book many times. And that was in Odia translation. English is also there. You can find in Ashram also. It will be there, a copy of him, his Gita. It is Talks on the Gita. It's not a big book. It says Talks on the Gita. His mother told, my child, in the school you are learning English and French. Why don't you study Sanskrit? He said, I love to study Sanskrit just to fulfill my father's wish. I am learning this. But I will study Sanskrit for you. She said, you should translate the Gita in a very simple way so that anybody can understand. He said, I will do it for you. Then he is telling, it was unfortunate that I could not, he did it. But at that time, the mother was not there. And he wrote the name of the Gita in which he translated. It is his mother tongue was Marathi. Gitai. Gita I. I means mother in Marathi. Gita the mother. Gitai. And he really loved the Gita. And this book which I am talking, the book you can find here in the library or in Ashram, surely there is a copy. Talks on the Gita. I remember I brought and gave, if it is there. So that talks on the Gita, he gave 18 talks in the prison when he was imprisoned by the British to the prisoner. So very simple, practical message of the Gita, no intellectual interpretation. But in that Gita, he's telling one sentence, those who do not produce and they consume, they are thieves. It is its definition from the message of the Gita in its own way. Those who do not produce but consume are thieves. Very simple thing. When I went to Holland Ashram, at that time we didn't have ashram here, we are in rented ashram. I saw Peter Baba in his garden clothes and working in the garden. I went and saw him, he's working. Then he plucked something and started eating. I thought, what he's eating? Then I looked at it, I said, what is it? He said, it is strawberry. That was my first discovery of strawberry. I thought strawberry grows in the tree. I never saw strawberry plant first time in Starksel Ashram. And it was almost so. However, what do we produce? We need so many things. We use so many things. We consume so many things. What Gandhi did, do you know what? Gandhi was a very interesting person. You can imagine without, America got independence. There is American War of Independence. There was war. Many countries in the world, they had, violence for freedom. But Gandhi spoke of non-violence. In a non-violent way, we'll find our freedom. What Gandhi did, he told people that we produce cotton and the cotton will be taken to UK and in Manchester the clothes will be spun, will be manufactured and clothes will come to India and we will buy the clothes. Why? So he said boycott. He said boycott. We will produce ourselves. Previously we produced. It was by some policy we lost it. Now we will produce. We will make it and we will not use anything which we are not making. And he himself, you will be surprised to know, Gandhi himself was a mass leader. And he was having so much of responsibility. But every day he was spinning, every day. For hours he was spinning and while spinning he was doing his other work. The same thing happened with Vinoba. And they spinned with the same spinned thread the handmade clothes and which they used. So they did it. As I told you yesterday when Vinoba told that we will not use money, we will produce ourselves. It is a big challenge. It's a big challenge. We will produce our own vegetable, we will produce our own food, we will produce or make our own clothes, we will make anything we need, we will make it ourselves. It's a big challenge. And in one ashram. And everybody followed for years they followed, although it was difficult. But it is a challenge. So what Vinoba said, anybody who keeps more than their need is a thief. Anybody who keeps more than their need is a thief. You will tell. So this morning the thought came to me. I knew the word. Again I was looking at the dictionary. I love dictionaries. And I was not looking at the English dictionary, I was looking at the Sanskrit dictionary. There are two words. One is bee, one is the mouse. The bee and the mouse, the bee goes from flower to flower, collects honey and keeps in the hive. And bee does the pollination. Bee, butterfly and other bees they do, but honeybee they collect honey. The bee in Sanskrit is makshika, madhumakshika, makshika. It comes from the root verb maksh. It has two meanings: to collect, to accumulate, to heap. One meaning. Another meaning is to attack, to hurt. And sometimes the bee can sting. It is a beauty of the language. You see, the name is bee. If we ask in English why its name is bee, but in Sanskrit it is makshi. And makshi is to collect, to accumulate, to heap. They collect honey and accumulate. And they collected honey, and what we did, we stole honey. We stole honey from the beehive with the humans. Intelligent, very. Another word I was searching for, the mouse. Mouse is mushika. Mushika, it is from the root word mush. Root verb, mush. Mush means to steal. Mush means to steal. The mouse steals. I don't know, here it is possible to see or not, but I have seen and I have my own personal experience of the stealing of the mouse. We have many varieties of mouse in India. Starting from tiny, cute, they grow that big, they don't grow too big. First, excuse me, the difference between rat and mouse. I will tell everybody as mouse. Tiny little mouse, and I have seen mouse, it is as big as a cat. So huge, I have seen. The mouse which I am talking of, they are very slick, this long body and then the tail. They are very good thieves. Especially during paddy harvesting. In the month of December, January, when it is really getting ripe and for harvest, they steal. And they steal, it's Indian farmlands are not too huge, like few acres, one property, small pieces of land. There is from your land to her land, there is this much of the boundary. It's all this much of high soil, that's all. And there's grass. And then under that they make the holes and they store it. I have seen from one mouse hole, can you imagine, 10 kilos, 15 kilos, 18 kilos paddy, means 10, 12 kilos rice could be collected, which has been stolen by them. And you will tell that they are storing it for their need. It is in few months, again there will be so hot summer and there will be monsoon, you can't consume so much. So the mouse, the name in Sanskrit is Musika, that means the thief. And Makshika, the bee, literally in Sanskrit, that means those who collect and accumulate. Do you know what? People save money. People accumulate money. It is, don't take it otherwise. if we think of the world, the wealth of the world is accumulated in the hands of how many people? I don't know why. This person was not directly my teacher, but he was a teacher in other colleges, teacher of economics. I love him, very bright teacher. When I was a student, he was also a teacher. And he also loved me. One day, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, he met me in a public program and asked me, I have a request. I have written a book in 2 volumes and I want your introduction. It is in Odia. I said, okay, because when he has requested how to tell no, then he gave me the text. It's so big, 2 volumes. It is on all the billionaires of the world. A lot of information. He was a professor of economics and he has written it is in Odia. I looked at the entire, because I have to write introduction, I went through the book almost from beginning to the end. All the big rich people, I read it. I know who they are. I know how much they have. And among them, how many from India? And how do they live? Where do they live? What type of house they have? And people, for whom? For what? My very simple question. For whom and for what? Yes, you go on, do business, there is nothing wrong. And use that for, for some good purpose. Use it. In ancient India, there were powerful kings, rich kings. Do you know what they did? It is not from the age of Ramayana, King Raghu. It is historic. There was a king in India, his name was Harshavardhana, historic name. You can find about him from internet also, King Harshavardhana, historic name. Every few years, he used to donate everything, nothing in the, all wealth, everything, and he used to even give his own clothes. And borrowing a clothes or begging a clothes from his own sister, put on, and then take care of the kingdom. The meaning is, wealth is not to be accumulated and accumulated and accumulated. It should be used. It should be used. So, come back to Vinoba. He told few things very interesting. He said, those who do not work means do not do physical work and do not contribute in physical production. It was a little strong word. They are thieves. Do work. I will tell one story from Gandhi's life. In his ashram, he started this ashram concept. Although ashram is Indian, but he started his ashram life in South Africa. When he was a barrister at South Africa and he saw all these troubles, so he wanted to bring courage among people. You have to protest. You have to demand. Not to beg. So we have to demand. We have to be united. We should protest. This is this. You cannot do this. So he started a community life. And the first ashram experiment of Gandhi in South Africa, it was known as Tolstoy Farm, if you have heard about it. He named the farm in South Africa as Tolstoy, in the name of Tolstoy, and Tolstoy Farm. There he said everybody is to work, everybody is to contribute. And he also started living there. He told his wife, you are cooking, that is fine. We'll share all these things, but your duty is to clean the toilet also. She said, what? I am to clean toilet? Then I'm coming back to Vinoba. Vinoba started living in Gandhi's ashram. He was in his 20s, early 20s, and he was from a Brahmin's family. In the beginning, the person who was taking care of toilet, he was ill. Those who, they're a group of people during those days. So he was on leave. His little son was to take care of. Vinoba saw this. When Vinoba saw this, first Vinoba didn't see. When Vinoba started living there, Vinoba's brother came and joined. Vinoba's brother saw this. When he saw this, he went to help this little boy in cleaning the toilet and all this work. So others saw, they didn't like it. Being a Brahmin, doing all this. When Vinoba heard about his brother doing this, he said, tomorrow I will join you. So he started doing this. And there was a protest. It was beginning of Gandhi's ashram life in India. In South Africa, he told his wife to clean. Here it is difficult to change the mind of the people. So some people left ashram because they saw that the Brahmins are cleaning the toilet. It is not good. So Vinoba told, cleaning the toilet is as respectable as the priest in the temple. There is nothing wrong. Cleaning the toilet is as good as this service of the priest in the temple. And Gandhi supported Vinoba. If I'll tell another example of Gandhi's ashram. There was a rich man, and his wife from Odisha. They were inspired with Gandhi's vision and Gandhi's teachings. They went to Gandhi's ashram. And this wife, she was young at that time. And she was staying there in the ashram as a visitor. And she thought that when there will be food time, somebody will call her. Nobody came to call her. The food was over. She was sitting in her room. And Kasturba, Gandhi's wife, came to her, told, my daughter, you have not taken food. She said, no, you have not worked here today in the ashram. That's why there is no food for you. What to do? She said, come with me. So she took her and told, at least we have to grind this quantity of wheat every day to make flour, then you will get food. No work, no food. No work, no food. So Gandhi's wife sat down with this rich young lady and started grinding together with the hand mill, the stone, grinding stone. The thing what has happened, if we think of our life, I told you the other day, if we think of few hundred years ago and think of now, if you remember I gave the example, how people were active and doing many things physically. Yes, industrial revolution, use of technology, electricity, the power. So, which I saw in my childhood in the village, my mother grinding spices to cook, making paste of turmeric, fresh turmeric paste to cook. Now there is no need. You get everything packaged or use the grinder. But that work, it was so good physical exercise. So it is gone. With very little work, suppose we wash plates in the kitchen. We took food, suppose we have to wash in hand. Now we can have machine, you put it in the machine and machine cleans. What happened in modern life? We substituted our labor with machine. Machine will do, and machine is doing. You will tell it saves time. It's good. But what you are doing with your time? Recently, I heard in New Zealand, last March, April, I was there. There I heard that people are demanding to have 4 days a week to work, not 5 days. I don't know, it is here also. Okay. Now 4 days a week to work. That's fine. Nothing wrong. Suppose 4 days you work, 32 hours a week. But what are you doing the rest days? How we are using our time? We don't know how to use time. Time is there. Today, you know the Upanishadic mantra, definition of 4 yugas. You know this? Kalau sayana bhavati, sanjihanastu dvapare, uttistha treta bhavati, kritam sampadyate charam, saraiveti, charanvai madhubindanti. This is Upanishad mantra. It's very interesting mantra. The mantra is talking of the 4 ages. In the Vedic culture, they spoke of Satya Yuga, the era of truth, Treta Yuga, the era of activity, Dwapara Yuga, the era of duality, Kali Yuga, the era of conflict. The Upanishadic description, Kalau Sayana Bhavati, laziness, sleep, lethargy is the sign of Kali Yuga. When we all are sleeping, we are in which yuga? Sanjihanastu dvapare. Yawning and slowly getting up. This is dvapara. Uttistha treta bhavati. Stand up. That is treta. Krutam sampadyate charam. When you start walking, this is truth. Walk. Unfortunately, we in the modern world, we forgot walking and we forgot working. We thought we are working in sitting in front of the computer, nothing wrong. Work, that is also work. But who will give you food? You will say, farmers. Why the farmers will give you food? The thing is, the positive contribution, physical labor, it will drive away diseases. It will drive away laziness. It will drive away lethargy. It will drive away inertia. Physical activities will give love for labor and dignity, and so on. But it is decreasing. And you do know, if you look at the rate of increase in diseases and use of technology and vehicles, if you compare, I don't know if there is any comparison like this. When there was bicycle, people were healthy. When we started using scooter, slowly diseases increased. When we started motor car, more diseases. If you just, very simple thing, walking, bicycle, fine. Up to bicycle is fine. After bicycle, when we started using, easy way of travel, more disease. And when I was young, I'll not tell from where, but one European disciple, he saw me in Kodar Ashram and he wanted to talk to me. So he said, why in India they are not using technology machines? I said, what do you mean? He said, if there will be use of, it was quite a few years ago. If it will be, they will be using this machine for like agriculture, tractor they should use, for this, they should use this. I said, why? It's good. You can get the work done quickly and you can have plenty of time and you can produce more. He started talking of the benefit of machination. I said, it is not needed for India. He said, what? You are studying an economics, you are telling it is not good for India? I don't think, you are very traditional, he told me. I said, no, it is not needed for India. Why did we use our technology in West? I asked him. He said, it is a sign of development, he said. I said, look, it is not that. It is not development. We wanted to produce more and we did not have too much of manpower. So machine displaces man. I don't know how much he could understand me at that time also. It's a very simple thing. Machine displaces man. Which a person can do, if the machine can do, so people wanted to use the machine. Why person? If the person is not having work, what the person will do? Lazy mind is crazy mind. Busy mind is healthy mind. Idle mind is devil's workshop. That is there. Now, so come back to our discussion when Vinoba told that learn more and teach more. Teach people more. Whatever good you know, teach. So today the thought came to me. I wrote somewhere. I wrote, I am a teacher. And I wrote, I am a student. So, I am a teacher, I am a student. And here I remember when I told this, I wrote today, but this thought is not new. It was in 1985. 1985, a very prominent monk of India during those days, who is no more. Long back he left his body. Some people might be knowing his name. His name is Swami Chinmayananda. He was a very powerful speaker and authority on the Gita and the Vedanta. So I had a small meeting, and it was for 5 minutes, it ended up nearly 1 hour with him. He looked at me and he asked, because he was informed that I am a teacher of economics. He looked at me and he asked me, young man, are you a teacher or a student? His English is very fantastic. I said, Swamiji, both. Then he said, how come? And that's the first time I heard this expression, how come? How come? I said, Swamiji, I study, I learn, I teach. So study and studentship and teaching and learning and teaching, it is going simultaneously. Then he found a funny person talking like this. So we had nice talk. Nearly 1 hour we spoke. And it is true. We have to learn every day. We have to learn. We have to know more. And I got a letter, a question about a person practicing but not able to experience. The paper is in my pocket. Why? There must be some problem. If you are practicing, not experiencing, have you talked to any teacher personally? I'm doing it, I'm not experiencing it. Suppose you go to a doctor and doctor gives a prescription, and if you follow the prescription, do you know what happened? There was a doctor and a person went and he had 2 problems. He had some this problem, he had some this problem. And it was long time, it is not now. For this problem you go to a different doctor, for this problem you go to this doctor. So what he did, he gave 2 medicines. He said, take this, use like this for this, and take this, use for this. Another rich man came with the same problem. he had this problem and this problem. And he gave this same medicine he gave to him. But this rich man could not remember which one to be used for what. So that which was needed for this started using for this, and that which was needed for this started using for this, and came with a complaint that I am not getting. And at that time, the other person, the poor man who had also probably, he said, the medicine was really wonderful, it really helped me. But he said, then the rich man was more unhappy. He said, you are doing different thing, but you treated him and he got cured, I am suffering more. He said, tell me, what you did with the medicine? He said, yes, I have kept it. You told me to use this for eyes, isn't it? He said, no, it was for this. The problem is, if we are practicing, we are not getting the result. You should go to the doctor and find out where is the problem. So, however, come back to our discussion of need. Today will sum up in this way: what I need, what others need, others around me, in the family, in the society, how I can be useful in solving their need. At the same time, we all should think collectively what the earth needs, what the water needs, what air needs, that means the environment, what the country needs. We are in different countries, different culture, what our country needs. So we have also our duty and responsibility to think individually and collectively for the earth, for the environment, for ecology, at the same time for different countries and culture also. Yesterday, I watched the movie. The movie is not movie, the slide show, you can say. It is not movie. About Greece. It was nice, informative. Today I watched about India. And although I didn't stay too long, but it's nice movie. But about thing is what we can do. As individuals, we have tremendous potentiality. Each individual. We all have the potentiality to change ourselves. All. And one thing should be clear, to change myself, no too much of other help is needed. It is only my own attitude and own endeavor, effort. Yes, once I am clear, this is needed for me, I will work on it. If I want to keep my body healthy, I have to work for it. Nobody can. I am hungry, I have to feed myself. I have to take food. Not that others will eat and my belly will be full. No. I have to work. So one thing it is clear, I will work for myself. It is very, very clear. At the same time, I will not think of myself alone. I will think of others around me, and this will go even beyond. Beyond means our society, our culture, from this even beyond, thinking of the whole world, the creation. We have to live with this individual need to collective need. And we have to work individually and collectively. Both. Individually, what happens is, I understand this is this, but collectively we can do a lot. For example, this ashram, it is not any individual's effort. Sri Gurudev's dream. Gurudev told we need an ashram. He told it is a need. But behind this, how much effort, how much you can't imagine. From the starting, and the ashram is established. For example, tomorrow there will be ashram in Poland. And I heard yesterday we'll celebrate the 25th anniversary. But every day, to keep this, to sustain, to grow, and creating really a healthy and good environment, it is not easy. But so when we are here to celebrate 25 years, if we think of the help, support, contribution of countless and countless people, visible and invisible, it is not a small work. So individually we can do little, but collectively we can do a lot. This collectivity, not, and when there is need for collectivity, do you know what is happening? In collectivity, we have to give up our little of self-interest, ego, jealousy. We have to give up. Otherwise, it will not work. It will not work collectively. If we have to work collectively, we have to be in a different rhythm. Do you know? Mischievous people can be very easily united. You can find, suppose few alcoholic people, they can be together and drink, and it's very easy. It is very difficult to find one who is not addicted. So, for example, not addicted, a vegetarian, like this, if you go on, you'll find less. And even if they are less, do you know, those who are so-called good people, sometimes they are too much dogmatic. And they are a little bit narrow-minded. They think my way is the only way, not that way. Today I asked somebody, do you know, Jesus came and he wanted to bring so much of love for the, and he gave his life for us. And what is happening now? The person became a little bit sad because I said, no, it is not the right attitude. There are many good people. Many people who really followed Jesus, and really, there are many. But there are some trouble. It is there. The trouble will be there. Trouble will be there. People speaking this, that will be there. But there are so many good things, good people, everywhere. So, as I told you, good people to be united is little bit difficult. But for that, there is need little bit determination. And if good people are united together, they can do impossible thing. As I told you, what really Gandhi did, it was amazing thing he did. So we have to work. We have to work upon ourselves, our own needs. We have to see that another thing. We should not increase our need. We should not increase our need. If it is needed, accept it. For example, I will tell my story. I remember in the beginning when there was office, I was coming and sitting in the office. If there is one letter to be sent somewhere or email to be sent somewhere, I was dictating and somebody was typing. So my English and the person who is typing, like this, so to see, to correct and like this. Then by God's grace, I got, it is 1998, Christmas, New Year, I got a gift. The gift was a computer. I saw computer, I never used computer. I got it used through others, but I didn't do like this. So this is the 25th anniversary of my getting computer. I got the computer, I started using, and it is useful. So computer became a need. I used it. And just to tell you, I told you the other days, maybe, I don't know if you have seen the book, In the Company of My Master, these 5 volumes. I have typed everything, few thousand pages. I typed all myself. So nowadays, most of the books I'm typing. It's fantastic. So it is productive. With computer, what happened? The internet came. Now with the internet, as I told you, the habit of reading the newspaper came. With the habit of reading the newspaper, I told you the other days, I went on reading. Not this newspaper, you will be surprised to know, I was reading newspaper from India, newspaper from Pakistan, newspaper, I was reading newspaper from Pakistan, newspaper from, because I always dream, it is my dream, one day India and Pakistan will be united. It is my dream. And not only India and Pakistan will be united, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, all the Nepal, to some extent China, they all will have economic cooperation. They will have free border, just like we have in Europe. When I came to Europe in 94, if you want to go from Austria to Hungary to get visa, and if you travel by car, stop on the border, then they open the trunk and look what is there in the trunk. They look at the passport, they stamp the passport, then. So now it is nothing there. So this is my dream. My dream is so-called enmity will disappear and it will be all united. However, to come back to internet gave easy communication, but yes, internet gave me to get letter from people to reply them. But do you know what happened with the problem? Hundreds and hundreds of letters every day. If it is urgent or needed, it's fine. And how are you? And I have very little knowledge of internet. Somebody fixed in my internet, one automatic message can go. Oh God, one person became so unhappy and wrote me, why do you reply the same thing again and again that I am not available as you are just doing this for me? You can't imagine so much of emotion, anger, frustration through the email dumped on me. And this type of, if you don't reply, they are unhappy. And it is, as Vinova said, just go on walking. I'm one person walking. One person traveling till now, I'm happy. But with all these things, however, we should not multiply our need. We should, in our personal spiritual life, the minimum need approach. This is enough. This much food is enough. This much clothes enough. This much of space enough. This much money enough. This much work is enough to be content in personal life. Then to break the personal ego that only I have to think of from I to we. I and you create trouble. Do you know? I and you. In Hindi there is one expression, me tu tu. What does it mean? You and me. Me means I, you. Quarrel. All quarrel because of I and you. And that is division. There is a devotional song in Hindi. Tera mera, tera mera, इसी का नाम है माया. You and me, this is Maya. You and me is Maya. We is beyond Maya. We will go, will sit, will eat, will work, will. From I to we, not I to you and I. You and me. However, let us close our eyes for a moment. With deep love, let us think of God and Sri Gurudev. Let us pray to God and Gurudev to give us more understanding of our own life, more discipline in our life, and not only to think of my own needs, but also to think of others' need and expanding it to the need of the country and need of the earth and the environment. Let we all be individually and collectively be productive in changing ourselves and helping others. Let us chant Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let all be happy, let all be healthy, let all be noble, and let there be no suffering in any form, anywhere. I bow to God, I bow to Gurudev, I bow to all of you, and I bow to the entire creation. I pray for the peace, progress, and prosperity of all living beings. Om Amen.